there's so much more there than what they're trying to simplify it into. And if you look at it from that large lens or that big scope, you can appreciate the people from these different areas and they looking at it in these different ways. And it's like, all right, that's what it is, or this is why it is. And it's like, okay, do we like this? Do we not like this? And now we live in a time and age where you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could be monogamous if you want. You could be polygamous if you want. But it's not. However you.
You shouldn't even be having these conversations.
I mean, you could, but it's just not.
Because it's not conducive. It doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, I guess that diversifies the thought because I guess people who just like grow up in one lifestyle, like just isolated to one thing, and then they want another thing, and they feel like there's something wrong with them, and then they find out that there's I could be in this kind of relationship, and this is healthier for me, and then like that's very mature kind of like you could grow up and be like, all right, well, you go out with somebody and be like, all right, cool, well, I'm all about being exclusive. And the other person like, I'm not. And you're just like, all right, well, I'm willing to deal or not. And then like there's a whole community of people who are like swingers, and it's like, and they're very happy.
But that's very small.
Yeah, exactly. Versus the other people are just like, no, I'm very much.
And those are people that probably both have high sex drives.
High sex drives and very comfortable with themselves and want to explore, but like find that, and at the same time they're still.
That's just a select.
Yeah, it's
such a
rare.
small, minute thing.
Right. But and so like you're open to do that, explore that world if you want to, but it's not like end all be all. And it's like so like the diversity of thought is cool, but just to be like that absolutism of like you need to be either this or like should we be monogamous or polygamous? I agree with you.
I think it's not about an absolute. I think it's about pushing lifestyles that people don't have a full grasp on what that means.
Yeah. They're just like, oh well, I don't want to fall into the white hierarchy. Like, I'm gonna have.
I think most of the people that are going to be interpreting that and trying to use that are going to be younger people.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be like under 35 or something like that.
Yeah. Then they're going to realize this is not conducive to raising my children. Wait a minute. I mean, sometimes it is. But,
it's not.
Yeah. Like I could say,
it's because the people that are doing that aren't doing that like with honesty.
Yeah.
Remember we've talked about this, like it's being honest with how you're moving.
Right. Yeah. Like if you want to move that way, it's good. But if you're honest with the person, then both people know. Okay, willing to make that decision of
like the
whether
chick
I'm with it or not.
The chick that's 23 years old, that's in a ethical monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
That never ends well.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because eventually that guy's going to find somebody that's better than you and going to want to spend more time with that person than you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get jealous.
Well, like, as long as people are honest with each other, be like, hey, this is what I want. And then all of a sudden, like, if you just get comfortable and adapt to that.
But in order for that to get to that point, your relationship needs to already need to have a firm foundation.
Yeah, and it starts with, or at least...
Where you're having that conversation, it's like, is this something that would help? I don't know.
Honest conversation. Yeah. So, like, if you want to have that, and, like, if the purpose was for, like, the diversity of thought, all for it. Because it's like, I think that's a benefit. Like, I mean, I have my preferences, monogamy works for me, and maybe it's because I have a shitload of kids. But, one woman. But, like, it's, and that's the environment that I grew up in, and that's what I'm used to, and that's what I'm comfortable with, And I played that game, like, when I was dating around, I was, like, bouncing around, like, oh, this is fun, but that's not what I wanted. So I was like...
Because you have stability.
Yeah, I prefer that. So, like, I mean, and everybody's different. That's just my story, but everyone has a different story. And they're just exploring
people are lying to themselves because people want stability.
Yeah.
Most people don't want instability.
Yeah. And that's what's, like, what the fuck is the name of that show? The one on Netflix that you're talking about. I watched 10 minutes of and like exploded.
Love Line?
Yeah. Man, or she just because she wanted the stability, and so she just wasn't honest about. She just wanted to get blasted by everything that moved, and then but she had this guy who was super honest, super nice, made a lot of money, cool with the kids. Good with her, like to talk to her, very honest, from what I saw.
Because he wasn't like a fuck boy.
Yeah, he was.
Gotta move on to the next.
And he was 100% about monogamy. Like, he was just like, he could have played around. Maybe he does later in the show. I don't know how that diverse is. I can't get past the first 10 minutes. But he was all for it. He came home like, oh, let me tell you about my day. And yeah, hey, baby, you're not listening to me. Come on. Hey, let me tell you about this. Oh, I got to go do this. And she's over there just daydreaming about getting plowed by someone from 10 years ago. And meanwhile, he sees her space out. He's like, hey, what's wrong? You okay? And she's just like, oh, yeah, no, nothing's wrong. It's like, you could just have a conversation there like, hey, let's spice it up. I want a little bit of this. Hey, what do you think about tiger masks? Whatever the fuck. But like, I don't know. Like, whatever. Hey, can you do a Russian accent? No, I was just curious. Like, whatever. Like, but nothing, because she wanted that stability. But then she still went out and decided to get, whatever, wrecked. It's like, yeah.
I really like talking about that show in that way.
Fuck that show, bro.
Because it was just so silly. It just didn't make any sense.
I don't get it. So it'll be one episode long. Hey, this is how I feel about this. Oh yeah, well I don't like that. Okay, well let's go our separate ways.
There's
Sometimes
the end
people
of the
grow
show.
apart. The end. Yeah. Or hey, I want to do this. Hey, well I'm not really about that. Yeah, but I really want to. Da, da, da. All right. Well, you know what? Even though I'm not really into it, I know you are, so I'm willing to try it. Boom. And that's life, relationships. Boom. Be open, honest conversations, and then you end up where you're supposed to be. Instead of living this lie, and then you have you're going through this big morality judgment thing, like, oh, I'm out here doing this, should I be doing this? I don't know. And then the other guy's like, oh, well, yeah, or gal, whatever. Oh, is this person cheating on me or not being honest with me? I don't know. It's like, it's insane. Like, it's fucking, it's hectic. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, life is about, there's so much more to do in life. And you're over here, like, deciding to just focus on this one thing and you're not even being honest with yourself about it. Man, how you going to be honest with everybody else about it? So, like, if we're going to start about relationship, monogamy versus polygamy, you got to work on your, like, mental state and being honest with yourself, then being honest with your partner, and then discussing what it is that you like and don't like.